Flosstube. It's Shelly KX Stitch on Instagram, and it's only stitching here on YouTube. Here's my Flosstube number 24. And thanks for watching. This is my hair when I have slept on it to dry it. Looks beautiful, right? Okay, here is my amazing stack of 7 finishes since last time. Because since my whip parade, a lot of them I'm all, oh my gosh, just finish it. So I finished the, I had a couple more of these and then this to do. And about half the words, and it's done. I think this is on some Luminous Fiber Arts Snow Day is what I think this is. It's very light mottled, kind of blue-gray. And then I finished, let me see if I can find which sampler it is on here. Don't see it. How is it not on the cover? There's like a whole bunch on the cover on this, and it's Sidonie Borat, I think is her name, her sampler. And this is on a brown, I'm pretty sure this is a Be Stitch Me 16 count. And I did this with Licorice Red by Classic Colorworks. And it was pretty funny because I was working on this one, and that last one was by Heartstring Samplers, Sing We Joyous All Together. They're both with Licorice Red. And I ran out and had to get some more from home because I wasn't home. So, oh, that last one was from the Jingle Ball last year, so it should be out any second now. And I finally finished Hopeful. It's on 16 count Ancient, and this is by Carriage House Samplings. Carriage House Samplers? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, it's on Ancient, and it's done with the silks that are called for except for the black. And it looks like this. So it's really green and brown. And if you ever look at my stuff close up, if you look at my stitch quality, if you've ever looked at it before, you can tell this looks a lot better. Interesting, huh? Most of them was only one thread, but even with one thread, my stitching usually looks horrible. So I think it is the NPI on that make it look good, the silk. And then I almost had this one done. This one is the Sepia Sampler. I think it's Not Forgotten Farm. And this is on some kind of Pictures Plus tan color. And I just had these little, like a bunch of these little like berries to finish. Whoops. And so that's done. I think it's just gonna be like a little needle roll. And then I had this done, and I never showed it. This is Santa's Candy Cane Lane by Stitching with the Housewives on Mystic, 16 count Pictures Plus, which is a gray, but I think sometimes it's called a blue. Yeah, it's a blue-gray. And I changed a lot of the colors on this because in her original one, these two were supposed to be the same colors as these two. Like, they're exactly the same. So I changed the colors, and the sleigh was supposed to be blue, and I didn't have the right color blue, so I put in the color blue I did have. There were 2 blues. I put in the color I did have, then I ripped it out and made his sleigh be black and white gingham. But this was fun to stitch, except for there was a lot of ripping. The words looked really so much better once just that little bit of red got put on there. And let me see, I don't think they were supposed to be pink. I think the houses were red, green, and blue. So the green is the called for, but I added the pink, which is Priscilla's Peppermint. And then I actually did stitch all of the snowflakes. And those I just did in 3865. I just used the 3865 for the white in these. And then the rest of it is Fancy Floss except the black. I just used Anchor Black. So I thought that turned out really cute. And this one is Elizabeth Strickland. Don't know who this is by. You know what? I think this is also on that snow day. But oh my gosh, I made a huge mistake on this, and somehow like my bottom was way far over, but I had moved the motifs over because these motifs were where they were supposed to be. So I had to go down the whole side of this and add in letters. So a lot of times the things are repeated. Like this says OP, and then P is down here too. And then the U, there's a U up here, then there's another U down the next line. Oh my gosh, that was a big old pain. But I like all the colors in this. They're very pretty. And I think this is one of the prettiest colored samplers I ever did. So I'm glad. And I changed something here and then I ripped it out and made it white because it was supposed to be that light white color. And I can't even believe I left the green in because the green is not my favorite shade of green. It's like a pine green. It might even be pine. So should have had the chart out for that one so I could tell you who it's by, but how many Elizabeth Stricklands are there? Okay, this is some, I think it's, I don't know what count it is, but this is some Ada I dyed myself with apple green and then emerald green. And it looks, it's not this yellow. Anyway, I had this all done except for this corner, and this corner is charted to be the Emerald City up here. And I thought, well, it's already right here. Why am I putting it up there? Free chart, Al Forrest embroidery. So I just charted it to do that. And I put in Oz and then it looked too plain. So then I put the Wizard of behind it, but that doesn't look that great. So don't look at that very hard, okay? And I did this for my sister and then I showed her another Satsuma Oz that I think it's Satsuma or Tiny Modernist Oz that I had the pattern for. And she looked at that one and she said, oh, but where would you put it? And I'm like, did she not remember? She told me she did want this when I showed it to her. So that's a bummer. You know what the other bummer is? It's so hot here and now I'm sweating again. Oh well, you'll just see me sweat through everything I do in the summer. Air conditioning in this part of the house is also broken. There's a Priscilla Dawes by Julie Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, and I got this off of Hemlock and Rye Stitchery on Gumroad, but she also opened an Etsy shop, so you could get it there. And this is on aged paper by Color and Cotton, I'm pretty sure. And I started a bunch of colors because I thought I was going to use it for fill-in, and I didn't do that yet. But I did like all down here, like this whole basket, and then I finished this tree. This tree is two different greens, but they almost look the same. So can't wait to get back to this because I finally got it. It started going fast because it's fun. All those motifs. Don't know why I'm trying to hang it on top of my finishes. That won't be good. Okay, here is Verano by Satsuma Street. And I'm using all the called for on this, and it's just on either 16 or 18 count white Ada. Love the bright colors. I worked on the Ladybug block and got it almost done. I had the fish started, but I didn't work anymore on it. So yeah, I mostly did the Ladybug. I might have had this like the main leaf stem in, but that's it. And this is fun, and I like working on this in the season that it's in. So those two I'm gonna work on some more. Then I worked on ABC Samplers by Little House Needleworks, and I had finished ABC, so I started DE. And I know this will amaze you, but it goes through the alphabet. So I think there's 9 or 12 or something. And this is on Smoky Pearl 14 count Ada. Do not know where I bought it. It doesn't say the dyer. It might not even be hand dyed. I'm not sure. So I did all this part to it, and I'm changing the colors to a darker brown because I think like a black brown, like it might even be 3371. No, it's like mocha or something, because I don't like this kind of brown. I don't know what you call it, a yellow brown on gray. So I'm changing that. So that's going pretty well. Looks like there's a lot of fill-in to do. And then the house, which is a lot of fill-in, and then that basket. And the D&E, of course. One of these days, I keep saying like, oh, when you see things like this, that I'm just gonna wing it and just whatever, not even count, not even care. So we'll see. I always think like, oh, but what if it looks really horrible for some reason and I have to rip it? Then I would not be happy. Okay, then I don't even know. I think I might have already showed everything I've worked on this, but I'm going to show it again because I'm going to work on it again. Ann Richardson by My Sister's Samplers. And I got this from Welcome Stitchery, and I'm pretty sure they could order it for you. And I could not get this on 123 Stitch. And so this is on Flawn by Bestitch Me, 16 count. So it's very gold, and the colors look really pretty on it, I think. But this also gets lighter, but I think it's going to be very pretty. So that's how much I have done. And I started this with Kim, Contented Needleworker Kim, as one of her birthday starts. And I'm not sure if I worked on it again, but I'm still showing it. I'll just work on it some more. And then, oh, I just printed this out and didn't go get it. Sorry. This is called, it's from L Cross Stitch, EL Cross Stitch. And this is on some, I'm pretty sure it's 18 count Aida just from a big box store. So it's very crunchy and it's getting softer, but I'm holding it in hand. That's why it's so wrinkled. And so I did the D, and I did the D all the wrong color. I did it like a medium gray, and it was all the same tone. I'm like, why isn't this showing? And so then I ripped it out. That's the correct color, which is the same color as Scrooge McDuck. And I started Chip and Dale. And this has a lot of, like, it has Huey, Dewey, and Louie. It has like some characters that I would think more would be at Disneyland and not as much in more current movies. Okay, then I started this one, which I think I showed you. I started this one first, and then I saw that one. I thought, oh, I think my grandson would know those characters more because he's been to Disneyland, but he hasn't watched Disney movies. So, and then I was on a Zoom, and somebody helped me with who this is, which is a sidekick of Gaston. So this is on Cherub, 14 count by Picture This Plus, and this is the fabric that had a huge blotch. It's supposed to be pink with some mint in it, and it had a huge blotch of this, like just really big in the piece I had. So this is just part of that piece, a pinker part of the piece, because this was stitched on pink. So I got the Evil Queen from Snow White done, and then I started Jafar. And 14 count is not my favorite, but I couldn't find my Bashful, which is the color I do like of Picture This Plus. It's just the light pink. I think this one will be fine. I mean, because look, see, it's supposed to be like a darker pink like that. So this color is darker than Bashful is. Then I found this. I had lost it. Seaside Tiny Town by Heart in Hand. And I did change the color of the pelican because our pelicans are like a brown gray. And I also bought Seaside Frill, but I'm not sure I can fit it in anywhere. But I'll have to, like maybe I can get some of the characters in. Like I was thinking of taking out the lighthouse because we don't have lighthouses by us. We have them in California, but not right by me. And this is Driftwood Yorkshire 14 count. I just got this from 123 Stitch. So it is a Zweigart fabric that's not hand dyed. And it's kind of like oatmeal, but it's gray. And I'm not really sure I like my pelican because our pelicans aren't even this color. Like it should be all brown, and it should attach to the neck more. I don't know. I couldn't understand it. I just said, forget it. So, and I'm changing the colors. So that's just blues and greens and browns because the brown I have is more a dark brown instead of this tan color. Like I was looking around the beach by me, and most of the houses are like tan or yellow or gray or blue. And so none of them are this color or that color. There's one, oh my gosh, there's one house by me that just got repainted green. It's really bright. And I think if it fades, it's gonna be even worse. I went to Stitcher's Paradise, and so this is a new start. The picture fell off the pattern, but this is Chessie and Me, yes, Grant House. And so it's 1865, end of the Civil War. So I guess this is celebrating Grant's victory. And then it says, preserve the Union and let us have peace. And both of those things I think are still appropriate for today. And this is on something, I don't know what it is. Oh, I know this, I bought this fabric too. This is, I think it's Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. And I got to see it before I bought it, so I knew how green or not green it was. Sometimes it looks super green. Right now it's not looking green. So there's my huge start. And I'm supposed to be starting this with Brenda Holzman and Amy Gable Stitcher. So you guys hop on it. I started. They both are trying to do their whips and stuff, and I'm just a bad influence. And I met Brenda at Stitcher's Paradise, and I bought her that pattern too. And so I'm like pretty much forcing her to do it. I was working on this, Crowns and Shields by Blackbird Designs. And here, there's not even that much bigger of a picture of it. But I liked all the colors in it, even though I don't really like Quakers. And so this is the end of it right here. So I finished the alphabet. I'd only had A, B on this alphabet. And then I found some of my weeks sage. So everything sage I was able to do. So I did this, I did those. I did all this, and that has some sage. That's sage. I did that. I finished the peacocks. I think I did this too. I worked a lot on this. And I'm starting right here. There's some more sage in that. This, and I did this color. This is, what is it called? It's not Cinnamon Toast. Oh, it's a color like that. Cinnabar. This is Cinnabar, so I did the Cinnabar too. And this was Cinnabar, so I did that one. And then, what else was I going to say about this one? I think that's it. I like the Cinnabar. I think everything on this is called for. So that's been very fun to do. And then I worked on a Shepherd's Bush stocking, and this is on 14 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I finished the stocking, except for the name of my grandson, which I'm going to put up here. These are just going to stay at my house. So I'm making some for any grandchildren I have and my husband and me. And I changed the bottom of it a little bit. The train track, I put a train on. There was no train in the pattern. And then I put this star here from another pattern because it was supposed to have buttons, and my daughter does not want buttons around little kids, you know? So, like, I don't think he'd dink around with it, but maybe. And I don't even think I bought the buttons. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at this. I'm not done. Oh, no, I'm looking at a different one. There's another one where it has a bird right here. But that's not the one I did. Okay, so this one is off of Thomas. Is the name of the stocking. So I did it mostly. It was called for pearl cotton on like a 18 count linen. You're supposed to stitch it over too. So it's like a 9 count. So mine's a 14 count, so it's going to be smaller. And I just used 2 threads with Weeks Dye Works. It's mostly Weeks and DMC. And oh, besides putting in the star just recently, I put in the orange, and the snowman's nose was also orange. And I think I also finished the sheep because those weren't done, and I finished the hearts. And I did the walking stick. So it was very close to being done. And I put in the Mary. And so the other ones I'm gonna do, I think I have one more piece of Vintage Country Mocha, and then I have a couple of pieces of some, what is the brand? Artiste brand that I got, I think, from Hobby Lobby. And so these are the three patterns I have so far. And this one really looks similar with the way that is. And then the train is more of a train. And this one has little houses. I might do this one for myself. And I like this. I bought this one too because it had a train. I don't know how. This is one of the older ones, so it doesn't have very much stitching on it. But I really like the big train, so I don't know. I might do this one for my husband. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet exactly. But I did buy a whole bunch of size 5 pearl cotton to do those in pearl. And this is one of those things that maybe there was more done on it the last time I showed it, because I've done a ton of ripping out. I think I ripped out like a third. I realized I didn't like this light blue color, and there's a pink too. Like, they both reminded me of 80s pink. And then this green was really a light, like a country green, like a medium. I didn't like that color either, so I ripped that out. So I ripped out probably a third of the letters and 2 of the bands and a bunch of the stuff down here. Like, I ripped out this tree. I ripped out the brown, because it's got like 434, 435, 436, those kind of gingerbready brown ones. And then there's like a dozen different greens in here, and there's like 30 colors altogether. So I ripped out some and restitched, and I'm still restitching. So I'm restitching that band, and I finally ripped out the green band below here. So I ripped out 3 of the bands after I'd stitched them. And I added some black, like this, that E is black. I think it's Carriage House black. And then I stitched this whole thing with whatever colors I wanted, and I stitched that with just some yellows. I like the yellows. I made the bird a little brighter. I used like a over-dyed green, because this was all DMC. And so some of the stuff I put in, like that red, I changed. I did put in some blue coat red, which is that pink, and it was too bright, so I took it out. So man, some of the stuff I will have stitched like 3 times. So there's like birds right here I have to do. This is the peacock, and this was it's all crazy. Like, it's like all different colors. So that's a lot of changing color. But I'm getting close to being done, and I'm not doing the outside border, which was a zigzag that was satin stitched. I was gonna just cross stitch it, but you can't. I mean, if you look at this from a distance, it doesn't even look like it has that border, and I don't miss it. So, and this is on 16 count Ren by Pictureless Plus. So pretty close. Oh yeah, I restitched the bird. I restitched some of these flowers. I left I left the bunny and the squirrel and that, because this is those colors, this 434 range. I stitched the lion. He was cute. I think that's just gold by Weeks Dye Works. And I think that's it. Oh, and I added the side of this, and I made that bird a totally different color. I still don't like this that much. It's pretty funky. I made it a little narrower, but I think it kind of sticks out like it doesn't belong. Okay, so hopefully this will be done the next time you see it. And I've said that I went to Stitcher's Paradise, which is in Las Vegas, which is about a 4.5 hour drive from here, but I flew. It's in Nevada, I live in California. And I kitted up 4 charts that I already had. And some of them I didn't kit up there but I kit these up recently. But this one was an all DMC, and this is cracking me up because this is the MMEW sampler by Samplers and Such. And then Amy Gable Stitcher told me, oh, hey, that's my friend Becky, the one I say stitches so fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I saw somebody stitching this, and so I bought it. On eBay, somebody sells her old stock, so that's where I got that. So that cracked me up. And then I'm restarting this one, and this was, I want to say this is, yeah, this is also DMC, so I'm going to start this again. Because I started it on like a seafoam blue and was not going to do it prim, but oh my gosh, it is so prim. What was I thinking? This is probably something I bought early on. So I'm going to restart that one. And I kitted up. I did not kit this up. I'm so stupid. I asked them if they had MPI, and they said yes, and I didn't get it, so I still have to order this. So Abby, we got to start this sometime. I have the DMC in here, but not the red. I just always wonder, and I'm going to do that on, strangely, 14 count murky, but my 14 count murky was a good color. I don't even think I have any 16 count marker left. I think I have 14 and 18. Like, too bad, right? And then I kitted this one up. This one I've had for a long time. So these are the two I did kit up at Stitcher's Paradise because they're not TMC. EE's Little Sampler by Little Robin Designs. I think the colors are so cute on that. They're so bright and cheerful. And that is Blue Coat Red, Geranium, Hibiscus, Licorice Red. All very pretty colors. So, gotta find some fabric and start that one because, you know, you saw my whips. I'm running low. And then this is one I got online. And I'm not sure. I think it's Etsy. Samplers and Stitches. And I'm gonna start this, but not super soon because I want to finish some of my small samplers. I want to finish all the small samplers I have going, and I think I have, I don't know, maybe 4 more. It's called Garden Jewels, Samplers and Stitches. So that one I picked up the variegated hand-dyed, over-dyed floss for. And I also, let's see, what else did I get? Oh, that one piece of, yeah, Milk and Honey Fabric on a Whim was that other fabric I got. And then I bought another piece of Fabric on a Whim Brown Sugar, which didn't look too badly green. It's still a little bit, I kind of like it. It's like a taupe, but it does have green. And then here's the floss I got for those ones I just told you. And I also bought Barbara Anna Blue Dreams because I love that one and I want to start it. It's on just a regular Zweiart in terracotta, but I'm not sure what I'm going to stitch it on. And then besides buying that Grant House by Chessie and Me, since I was in the Chessie and Me box, I bought 2 other ones. And one of them is like a housewife, it's a sewing roll. And it is this one. And I liked it because it has the flowers like the carnations on the inside too. So it's got birds and flowers. It's called Flower and Bird Sewing Roll. And then this one is a Christmas one, Peace and Goodwill sampler. I should really look and see if I have this one. It seems, I mean, I like Christmas, so I could believe I had it. But these are also small sampler. This is also a small sampler for when I get some of my small samplers done. And oh yeah, then I bought this keychain to use as a zipper pull on a project bag. And that's about it for the stitching. Yes. If you want to hear about the life update, about my trip, about me seeing Brenda Holzman, hang in here. So I went on Thursday and I got, is this right? Is that right? Oh my gosh, I don't even know when my flight was. Yes. So I got in, I left at 8 out of Burbank Airport and I got in at like a little bit after 9. Picked up my Turo car, which is like VRBO for cars. You rent it from a person, but it's also a company and they set their own prices and stuff. And so the girl dropped off the car with me and then she left. And then I get in the car and I see there's like huge like cracks in the windshield, like 3 cracks like this big. So I text them, I go, oh my gosh, there's huge cracks in your windshield. They're all, oh yeah, we forgot to tell you that. We're getting that fixed, or we're working on getting that fixed. So I'm like, okay, whatever. My husband's like, oh no, there's safety glass. It won't like shatter all over you. Cause I was like, well, at least I wear glasses. So if it shatters while I'm driving, I should be fine. So, so I drove over to Stitcher's Paradise and Brenda was there and we had so much fun shopping and Michelle was helping us out and eating. We went down the way and ate at a really cute place that they probably don't want to be called cute. The theme is like weed, pot, like marijuana. And so all the food has names that has to do with pot. And then there's a bar too. And there's a lot of people there. They all seem to know each other. It seems like a nice like hangout kind of thing. And weed is legal in California and in Vegas too, so Nevada. So, and nobody seemed particularly high or looked like they just spent their day smoking pot, but who knows? So we had fun, we ate there, and then I said, oh, hey, I'm gonna go back to Stitcher's Paradise. So I went back and I bought, I don't know what I did. Bought some more stuff, stitched for a while, then it was 3:15, they were closing at 4, so I went to start my car, battery's dead. So I tell the Turo guy that I actually rented it from, and he said, oh, you have to go through Turo. And so that took like a half an hour, calling my husband, calling that guy, or, you know, trying to get in touch with the guy and him not answering. And it's like 93 outside in the shade, so I'm sweating, of course. And my phone is dying. And so we spent an hour on the phone with Turo. I'm standing outside in the shade because the stitching shop has closed by now. And later on, I went into that restaurant again. But I couldn't talk in there because it's loud and I couldn't hear. And also the guy answering, I think they outsourced their phones for Turo, so I couldn't understand a lot of the words. My husband couldn't understand a lot of the words either. And we called again and same thing happened. So I think it's in some other country. Anyway, hard to understand, standing outside sweating. And so, so then they say, okay, at the end of the hour phone call, after they put me on hold several times, and, you know, they made me take pictures of it, showing the lights flashing and, you know, asking me stupid questions like, is it lowered? Is it antique? And we already told them it was a 2020. And then I also got a comment from the lady who dropped off the car with me, like, oh, well, you have to push on the brake and then push the button. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I drove it here. I have a Nissan. I know how this car works. Thanks for treating me like I'm stupid. So anyway, so that wasn't very fun. So I'm sweating, and then they said, okay, we'll call you. They finally called me a tow truck after an hour, and the tow truck estimated time was 2 hours. So then I texted the owner and said, 2 hours, that is not reasonable. And he's like, okay, I'll tell them to give you your full money back. And I'm sitting here thinking, I drove this car for 25 minutes. I hope I'm getting all my money back. But anyway, so I go sit in the bar, plug in my phone. Things are a lot better. Tow truck comes. And then I was instructed I had to call Turo back again so I could get a new car. And I was just like telling my husband, kind of like, I don't even want a new car from them. But we decided, oh, well, I'll just get a new car from them. So they gave me a credit for driving to the airport. It took another hour to get a car. And then they gave me a credit for Uber to drive to the airport. And then I tried to open my Uber app and it wasn't downloading. At that point, I just started crying because, again, I'm outside. I've been outside for another hour talking to the Turo people. And so at this point, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll just take Uber the rest of the weekend, forget the car completely. So anyway, I took the Uber to the airport, picked up a new car, that was fine, picked up my friend, that was fine, because I had to go to the airport anyway because I was picking her up because she was coming in at 9. And everything was fine after that. It was basically like 4.5 hours though. Awful. And so and I also ate dinner at the same place I had sandwiches with for lunch at that same bar. So it was delicious. They have really good food there. So we had fun. We went to casinos. My friend hadn't been there in Vegas since 1999. So she wanted to see the new casinos that had been built. So we saw like the Bellagio, the Venetian, Paris, and we stayed at the Park MGM because on Saturday night we went to go see Maroon 5, which is the whole reason we were there in August, because don't go to Vegas in the summer. It's too freaking hot. It was a really great concert and I was glad I went, and I spent a lot of time sweating on my trip. I don't like sweating. And then, I got this t-shirt and it says, it says floss like a boss, and it's a unicorn like doing the floss dance, but I thought it was funny. My friend was buying a t-shirt, so So I go, oh, how much is it? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, oh, we'll give you a free t-shirt. You won't have to pay for the t-shirt if you choose the design, because it's a place where you choose the design and put it on with a machine they have there. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I got it. And then the whole bill was outrageously expensive. It was $220 for 2 t-shirts. So it was $36 every time they went like that. So each t-shirt was $36 for the pressing, $36. Mine was $36. I think hers might have been $56 because it had rhinestones for the artwork. And then the t-shirt itself was $20, and they gave us one free. So we each got like $10 off, but it's still crazy. We were just like, oh my gosh. Because I just got it as, you know, it's kind of stupid, but it's kind of funny because this is floss. But don't ever do that. Ask the price. You should know when they don't have the price listed. Because I won't even ask prices. Like, I was in that same store and they had a bunch of junk, you know, like they had all this little like tchotchke souvenir stuff. It wasn't an expensive store. And there was some keychains that I thought, oh, these are cute because there are a lot of cartoon characters and stuff, but it didn't have a price on it. So I'm like, I forget it. I'm not going to buy it because I don't want to ask the price because I don't know. I've told you, introvert. I don't even like talking to people that work at stores. So, but everything else was great. The theater that Maroon 5 was playing in was attached to our hotel, like through the casino. We ate dinner at Italy, which was through the casino. So all the food was really good. And we went to get ice cream at, let's see, Salt and Straw, which is where Brenda's granddaughter works, but she wasn't working then. But it was delicious and has all these really unusual flavors and you can try them all. And so all together, I'm really glad that I got to see my friend from college, Maria. I got to go to the concert and I got to go to Stitcher's Paradise and especially see Brenda, because all the sweating and the trouble with the car would have made a regular trip so not worth it. But I didn't start crying until my Uber app wouldn't load on my phone. And then there was a nice lady came up to me in the parking lot and said, are you okay? Like, do you need a ride like somewhere close by? I can take you. But of course I didn't need a ride close by because I had to go back to the airport or to my hotel. And then when I was in the restaurant for like the 3rd time, and I spilled Dr. Pepper. I spilled a whole like thing of Dr. Pepper down the table, down my leg. It was all the way down my thigh and the bottom of my shirt. It dried and it was this huge blotch because it's Dr. Pepper. And so I had to tell the woman working that I needed a rag. And she goes, I'll clean it up for you. So then I tipped her and then she came back and I said, oh my gosh, my car, it's like I'm going on hour 3 on this car thing. And so she came over later and gave me a cookie. Because she said, she goes, I like to feel like I'm a nice person and I like to do things for people and you seem like you have a good attitude even though your day's not going well. And so that was awesome. Got a free cookie too. That was also delicious. But it's so funny because when my husband and I go, we usually go in the winter and we go a couple times a year to Las Vegas, and we usually just spend our time going to restaurants and eating. So it was different to go see like hotels and stuff because like some of them I go a lot, like it's close, right? We don't even gamble, but we've been a lot to Vegas. Like the boys used to have basketball tournaments when they were younger, and that's why I've been there in the summer. And they also had what is it called, Melee, is that right? Yeah, it's like Super Mario Brothers game tournaments there. So I went like about 3 or 4 times with just me and a couple of either both my sons or one son and a friend, that kind of thing. And so I spent a lot of time to Stitcher's Paradise there. And one of the best times I had there, remember Cheryl and Candace and I went to, we stayed for my birthday, which was in May, so it wasn't hot yet. And we went to Stitcher's Paradise every day for like 4 days. That was really great because we just stitch. It was like our own little retreat. So I would recommend that. That's a great kind of vacation. And I'd recommend going to Maroon 5. That was awesome. The rest of it, it's too hot. And I think that's it. And I have got to go to the other part of my house where there is air conditioning, because even talking about the heat and then sitting here sweating, Okay, so I hope you're stitching on something wonderful. Thanks for watching, and tell me what you've been working on lately in the comments. And that's it.